Hello. Hopefully everybody can hear me. So, I haven't updated OBS in a little while. Maybe I need to. I don't know. That's the first time I've had it crash like that. But the entire system crashed, not just OBS. So hopefully I don't have other problems. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's been a while since I streamed. And I've been working on the fourth module for the HyperCard authoring and programming series, and it's all about the graphic tools and all the things you can do for drawing and painting and all that. So of course there's a lot of tools. There's a lot of information to go over. I'm already at 50 cards in the stack I'm doing for it. So it's going to take quite a while, I think, before I have another one released. I may either break it up into multiple videos or do one massive video with a lot of entry points into it for the specific topics. I don't know. I'll find out. Anyway, it's taken quite a while to write. I intended to record it last weekend, and that didn't happen. I spent most of the weekend just writing. So, to give myself a little break and to do a little bit of HyperCard programming, I played around a little bit with Chat GPT just to see what it could do. It actually can write HyperCard scripts in HyperTalk very poorly. It doesn't understand it very well. It thinks that you can add attributes to objects, which you can't do. I mean, if it were an object-oriented language, a true one, sure you could do it. But no, you can't. So I took some of that code and kind of threw it into HyperCard and tried to fix it. I was going to have to rewrite the whole thing. So Chat GPT is not very good at HyperCard. It's not surprising. There isn't a lot of code out there for it to grab. It did actually understand how to do some stuff, so I was surprised at that level. So, anyway, I wanted to just kind of throw together, from scratch, a very simple text adventure style game, and just show how to build it. Now, I've already done some prototyping and played around with this before, so there you are. I could just show that, but I think it's a lot more interesting if you see it being built. So let's do that. Let's share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully it won't crash. And there we are. Okay, so this is on my Quadra 610. I'm using an Elgato capture card. Not the best solution. They've got a tool that you can use to view the output from it, and it doesn't understand the aspect ratio, so it's a little funky. It appears to be okay in the when it's presenting in OBS. Maybe OBS is smart enough to figure it out. But anyway, so let's see who we got. 1-Bit Fever Dreams, welcome, and Brian Krent, huzzah! Yes, Queen Elizabeth was a fan of HyperCard. HyperCard started in the 17th century, along with kilts. So, anyway. So let's get started here. So you're going to want to create a new stack. Do that pretty easily. I arrange things into a separate drive for my code, and that's not the drive. I don't know why I called it miscellaneous. I have HyperCard projects and adventure. And we're going to do Adventure. Maybe I know. Let's do. Nah. It's been done. Adventure. I was going to say a journey quest, but that's been around. So we save that. We're just going to use the defaults for the new stack. And now we've got our completely blank palette to work from. Let me move this mouse. Sorry. Oh. Anyway, so what does an adventure game, a text adventure game, have in it? It has text, right? So let's pull the tools off the tools bar so they're convenient to use. Click on the text tool, hold the option key down, and we're going to put a title on here. Even though there's a title in the stack, it's kind of habit to do this. We need a text style that's a little bit bigger for a title, and let's use Chicago. Nah, what would be a good yeah, let's use Palatino. Let's make it bold. We're going to center it. And let's make it a little bigger. Hit OK. And adventure! Exclamation point. Now, one of the things about HyperCard, if you run this stack on a classic Mac with a 9-inch screen, you lose a bit of the top of the stack. So one of the things you end up doing is dragging it down a little bit so that you don't cut it off. I don't recall exactly how far to do it. I'd have to try this on a classic Mac to see what the difference is and stuff, but I'm just going to do that here. We don't need it quite so tall. I'm holding the shift key down, by the way. The shift key will constrain the motion of size change or your drawing tools and stuff to either the vertical or horizontal axes. So, all right. We need another text box that is going to be the dialogue, and that should take up most of the space here. Now, we're also going to want this to be a scrolling text box, and we don't want the user typing in it, so we're going to lock the text. Okay, yeah, we need to give this a name so that we can refer to it in the code. And then we're going to need another one for typing commands in. So we're just going to slap in a text field here. And we're going to make it a rectangle, call it command. We don't want to lock the text. We don't want the text to wrap though. We kind of want this to be a single line thing. I think the defaults are fine here, so we're just going to leave it alone. We only need one line of text. Now we can play around with it later. Okay, so now we have a command box that you can type commands into. What else do we need? You're gonna need to have some way of, like maybe restarting the game or resetting or starting over. I mean, you could have it if you leave the game and you come back, it restarts it, at the beginning or something. But let's be fancy. We're going to add a button here, and we're going to call it. What are we going to call it? New game. Let's do this. Now, the button name, this is something I don't care for in HyperCard. It doesn't really have a label. It just shows the button name. So you refer to the name in code as well as, for the label for it. So we can create a new game button here. Let's throw an icon on there too. There isn't really anything that looks like new. You could probably use like the undo kind of curved arrow going back around kind of a thing. You could create an icon like that. You could just create an icon that says new. Home typically is used to describe you're going home. So let's say our adventure starts from home. Anyway, it's a good enough excuse for me. Alright, so we got to have a button like that. Let's get rid of the border. Oh yeah, no, we do. Transparent is good. Sorry, I've got the mode here going, so if you click on it, then it goes away. We also need, as a convenience, let's make some buttons for direction. So typically in a text adventure game, you go left, right, forward, back, north, south, east, west. You might go up or down, things like that. We're going to keep it really simple. Let's create a new button. Oh, excuse me. That is not the button. That is the select. So we're going to create a couple of buttons here. Let's call this one north. And let's see. We should have some up-down icons we can use. You could use a compass rose image or something like that and then create it. In fact, there's a compass rose right here, but we want to have 4 buttons. So what you could do would be go get an image, slap it on there, and then create buttons over it. Let's just do something simple right now and use the arrow buttons that we have. Yeah, see, this one could be like start over. It kind of looks like like return back. So we've got, we'll use this one for north. Okay. So let's, I want to kind of keep these the same size, so I'm going to Command C and V, and that is to paste it. So we're going to want something like this. Let's make this one south and change the icon. So there's an awful lot of graphical elements for a text adventure game, right? So south. Okay. This one would be east. Change the icon. And we want to go... Oh, that's right, they're farther down. I believe that's the right size. Let's see. That's a... Yeah, I think that is close enough. Who cares? We'll make one for going west. Okay. Okay, so we got buttons that don't do anything. You go back to the browser tool. You know, nothing happens when you click on them. Boy, I really messed that last button up. That's not the right graphic. Let's change the icon. We wanted... Which one did we want? Was it? It wasn't this one. That's too heavy. Maybe it is. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Good enough for now. You know, I think I'll probably do like a better graphic or something and put a compass rose on it or something like that. But, you know, then what you do is remove the icons from the compass directions from the buttons and just use them as overlays over a graphic. So, but good enough for now. So we need to, let's see. Well, you have to have some kind of text generator for this. You're going to have, you could write it all in code. You could have code that would just, you know, start the game and type in something into the dialog box and then wait for the user to enter something and then type something in response to it. But usually when you do these kinds of games, there's a file or something that's got, so you can reuse the game for different adventures instead of hard coding it. So you would read a file that would tell you like the map, or it could tell you a description of where you're at, things like that. So and usually that file has a particular format and stuff. Zork, which was a really popular game, they squeezed the file down to reuse bytes and do crazy things so they could get it as big a game as they could on an Apple II, or whatever it was they first did it on. You know, we're not going to do anything like that. We've got a modern machine here with lots of memory, so we don't have to do that. So let's now we have to store that somewhere, and you could just do hidden fields on this card, but it's easier. Oh yeah, we want to name this card. So card info game, really original, huh? Okay, you notice that we have card number 1 out of 1, so there's only one card in here. We're going to add a card, and you can do that up here from the menu, or you could say Command N for new card. You start with the same background and everything. If you want to do a card that has a different background, there's two graphic planes on this. There's the background layer, and then there's a transparent card layer. And if you want to, it's kind of buggy, it's just the way it's built. If you want to create a new card with a different background, you need to be on a card and then say new background. It creates a new card with a new background. It's weird. You would think it would create a new background for the card you're on, but no. Just not how it works. So on this one we're going to need a text box. Now, nobody's going to be looking at this card except us while we're programming it. So I don't really care too much what it looks like, but I'm a neat freak, so I usually label things. So we're going to create a label at the top, and then now the dialogue tends to be quite a bit, so we're going to go all the way across here. We're going to make this a scrollable. We want a long game, and we're going to call this locations. So these are the locations in the game. Okay, and then locations. So we've got our field for locations. What else do we need? Let's just go with that for now. So I've already put together, like I said, I've been working on this, so I already have the kind of thing I want. HyperCard has a lot of text control functions and things so that you can do. One of the things you can do is you can treat every line in a variable or in a field as a separate object, sort of. So you got, line, you can say get line 3 of card field whatever. So what I've done is I want to have each line describe a location in the game. So you're going to have a name for that location. We're going to start in a forest glade, and then after that you've got the description of the forest glade. And instead of using the comma character, which is the default for separating items inside a list inside text, I use the vertical bar because I'm unlikely to use a vertical bar anywhere. So let's grab this first thing here. Command C. We're going to go over here and just paste it in. Now this does wrap around, but it still recognizes that this is a separate line from this one because there's a return there. So forest glade, you are in a forest glade. To the north you see a trail. And then what we need to do is we have to indicate, we have 4 directions you can go, east, west, north, south. So we need to have, if you didn't have anywhere to go, the game would be pretty short. You're just in the forest glade and then you're done, right? So you got to go somewhere. So we're going to take the north trail as one of the things. Now I've got some other code in here I haven't, or other text in here I haven't implemented, which would be objects like a lamp and a sword, or characters to interact with and stuff. The text is in here. I write the code, or will write the code, where it'll just ignore stuff it doesn't understand. So let's right, so let's go look and see what we got to do here. So we go back to the first one. There's nothing much going on, so let's start the game. We could do that. So we're gonna go in the byte, this icon here, and we're gonna go to the script for new game. So on mouse up, it gives you a handler already for it. What do we want to do? So we're going to start a new game. We need to have a sense of location. Like when you start the game, where are you? So I'm going to, there's a couple ways you could handle this. You could use global variables. They're a lot faster to execute than, say, using a field that you would refer to grab information from, which is another way to do it. A lot of people would just stick a current location field on that second card. I like to use G to indicate it's a global location name. So we just want that location name, like Forest Glen or whatever it is. All right. So we got a global variable for that. You don't type it. in HyperTalk you don't use types. It's just whatever you assign to it is what it is. Okay. So we need to initialize it. So go back to here. Forest Glade, we said, would be our first location. So let's go back here. And we're going to say put Forest Glade. We're going to try to put Forest Glade into G location name. Okay, so we've initialized that we're in the Forest Glade. There isn't much else to do here except, you know, if we go back and look here, if you're starting a game over again, there's probably text and stuff in here. If you're going to like stop in the middle of it or something, we want to clear this field out. And we called this dialogue. So if we go back to the script, put empty into card field dialogue. Now the button refers to, it's assumed you're on the card, you're referring to the card that you're currently on. So you don't have to name it. It should be enough to do that. Let's put empty into card field command. Why not? Maybe there's something there. Okay. So nothing's going to happen if you do this. We don't have an action or anything here. So you need either a function or a message handler that would do something that you could call. So what do you want to do? We're already in the location, so maybe what we should do is now you could use a function and just call a function for everything. I tend to like the messaging structure for this. It's a little different. So you have to send a message to call the handler. So do is a common. Is it? My keyboard shifted over a little bit. Do is a common prefix that you could put on, you know, an event. You're gonna a message handler. So do something. So we could do look, but we're also going to have something that answers commands. But let's go ahead and start with this. So we're going to do look. Probably should pass. Well, we don't have to pass it a location. You could use the global because it's where you're at. So we'll start with that. Okay. So we're just going to send do look to card game. So let's just put it all inside the game card. So we're going to need a do look. So we'll go to the card info, go to the script for the card, and we're going to do on do look. We're going to assume that we're using the global variable, so G location name. So we need to look for a location. Well, we've got locations listed in the field on the second card. Did we give that card a name? I don't recall we did. We need to refer to it. Now you could refer to it by, let's just go here, object, card info. I could say card number 2, or I could use the card ID, but that's not user friendly. So let's call this data. So it's our game data. And we're going to come back here and go back into the card. Oh, what made you decide to not assign one card per location with communication between them with globals? I'm trying to keep it simple, and you could do that. You could have each card describes a location, and I know where you're going with this one bit. Because then you would do a graphic of each location that would be a picture, so it would be a visual thing too of what's going on at that location. And that's one way of doing it. Now, if you watched my animation stack demonstration, one of the ways to do animation is to copy pictures from other cards and put them on your, like your active card that you're using to view. So you could do that where you have a stack of cards that are nothing but your images and then pull them on. Yeah, I'm not doing graphics on cards here, but you're right. You could architect it that way so that you're prepared to do it. So, yes, you're all about graphics, I know. And this is just version 1. Version 2 could be like, hey, let's make it graphical. Now, you're kind of stuck in this single card metaphor in this thing, and you'd have to write it differently to do what you're doing. But this is a really simple game. You could probably easily modify it. So, but this is just a text adventure, so we're not going to worry about that right now. A good programmer throws away code all the time instead of trying to save it. But it's a difficult thing to do. Like, have you ever been editing an image and just got so frustrated you threw it out and started over? It's hard to give up. You want to try to fix it instead, I imagine. Anyway, so getting back to the card info here. So we named that one data. So we want to look. So we need to find the current location and grab the description of it. Now, you could just throw the code directly in here and it would execute faster that way. Or you could use functions, or you could do other things to, whatever. But the concept of going and looking for that location record is probably going to be used in multiple places. So I think we probably want a function that will find the location. So let's go ahead. Let's do this. We'll do that's something we could do later. So let's make a note to do move location finding code to function or something like that. We're just going to write it here so it's easy to do. So we're going to look. You know what? I've decided I want this to take a parameter. So it's going to take a location. I want to try to get away from globals as much as I can. So let's go back before we forget and change this code. Do look. And I think we're going to have to stick quotes around it. G location name. And I also like to do, anytime you're doing concatenation on strings and stuff, it's sometimes you need to put parentheses around it just so that it will resolve and not get confused. So we're going to send the location, and we're just going to grab this global. I know it seems weird, but it'll make more sense later. Alright, so we're going to save that. Let's go back to the card. Alright, so we're going to get the location. Actually, we're going to get the location name. So let's name it that. So we need to use a repeat with x equals, whoops, excuse me, 1 to the number of lines in card field locations. Did I call it locations plural? I think I did. These get a little wordy. If you do option enter, you can repeat, or you can break the line of card data. So we have to, because that field is not on this card where the code is, we have to make sure we reference it. So we're going to repeat. I like to type the closing thing so that it lines things up. So let's look at our text here. So item 1 is the name, the first item, and then item 2 is the description. So if item 1 of you know, that's going to get really long referring to that. Let's do this. Put line X of card field locations into this location. If line item, oh wait a minute, the default for lists are a comma, so we have to actually change that, and should do it outside of the repeat. How do you do that again? Set the item delimiter. Item delimiter is a, yeah. And we used a vertical bar. Alright, so get that. And then when we're done with the repeat, we want to set it back to the default. Comma is a keyword you can use. You notice how it's all messed up? It's because I got an if here that's not closed. If item 1 of this location equals the location name, then we found the location. So we can let's have something to hold the entire line. We do. This location is there, is the entire line. So we've already got something. We can end repeat, or exit repeat. And if. Okay. So what we're doing is we don't have to go through all the lines, we just have to go until we find the line we want. So we're going to end the repeat and get out of the loop. Okay. So now this location should be our current location, or what the one we're looking at. Okay, what are we going to do with the information? So we should put it inside the dialog box. So put, oh, we need to get the description. So we exited the repeat. Now what if you go through here and there's nothing? We don't find it. So what we should do is actually, let's put empty into this location. So this location is empty. And we say if this location is empty, and if we're gonna have to do an else. So if it's empty, then we got a problem. You're in a location that doesn't exist. So we could either quit the game. Remember to test stuff out before building too much. Well, it doesn't do anything yet, so I'd have to walk through the code, which you could do. I could check to see if this loop actually does find the location. So you're right, we could do that. But let's do this then. We'll just put a comment in here. Oh, then we're going to put a comment in here. Location not found. Location found. Okay. So yeah, why don't we call it? So let's close this. So we want to send a message, do look to the card. Yes. We're already doing that with the button. So we could. There's no card field name locations. Ah. What did I name it? No, it's name locations. Okay. I'm not referring to it the right way. And our card name is data, right? Card info. Data. And card field locations of oh. No, wait a minute. No, card name was data. Let me go back and look again just to make sure. So if we go to card info, it's named data. And we have the field tool. Double click on the field. It's called locations. Yeah, see the syntax for HyperTalk it's a little too English wordy. Card followed by field seems sus. Oh. put line X of card field locations of card data into this location. Number of lines in card. Yeah, it still has to be card field. It's not a background field of card data. Let's try that. Well, I don't have a breakpoint. I don't have it doing any kind of an action. Hey, Rudy. So let's try debugging. So I'm going to set a breakpoint here. Alright, and we can Command S to stop. Oh, we want to look at the variables. Yeah, you could do a beep. And I could also use the variable watcher. So it's already got the location name because it was passed, Forest Glade. X is 1. Okay, this time it picked it up. This location is Forest Glade. And it exited the repeat. Okay, I got it right. So, cool. Okay, so we got a location. If it's empty, we need to do something. Put adventurer. You are lost. I do not know where the location name. Yeah, it's getting long again. Where the location name is. So we'll show something. And the location was found. Oh, we didn't put it into something. Into dialogue. Now, the dialogue's gotta go. Do like bad programmers add a ton of print hello 2 and prep. Yeah. It's funny because back in my early days of programming, I programmed in Unix and C, and the debugging tools were a royal pain to use. So, and in DOS, it was just really difficult. So what you would do is put printf, made it here, printf, end of function, stuff like that. Because before you had IDE environments, all you did was compile stuff. And the debugging didn't do single step, or you just didn't have that. So it was really frustrating because sometimes you would alter the memory map, and the stack would shift and stuff. And if you put a printf in, your code would start working, and if you pulled it out, it wouldn't because you were corrupting a different section of memory. It was really interesting, put it that way. You could spend hours trying to debug something where you just, oh crap, I forgot to initialize memory location, or I have a pointer that's uninitialized, and the garbage that's in it is affecting where it goes. So, okay, so we found a location. We need the description. The description's the second item. So we're gonna let's have a description variable we toss it into. So we're gonna put empty into this location description. Kind of long variable names, but whatever. Don't remember what the maximum is. Put item 2 of this location into now. To test this, I really should have some descriptions or locations that don't have descriptions, like there's only the location name, and you know, you could do a lot of border checking on these things, and I will, because the idea is that somebody could edit the file. In fact, you ought to have a sanity check program that would go through and use the parser. So it's good to have these functions, or to create functions. Have a parser that would go through the file and check to make sure that it's consistent. You know, if you define a location that you're going to go in the north direction, to make sure that that location exists, things like that. So I could imagine a validation thing so that people could edit the file and do that. Yeah. Not today. This is the cheap version. Put item 2 of this location in this location description. So let's put this location description into, and we're going to put it into, oh, it can't say into dialog, into card field dialog. It'd be nice if you could refer to things like that. Card field dialog. All right. And return. And return. We want to do separate lines. Okay, let's try it, see what happens. Boom. Expected a variable name but found dialog. I don't want and return here. I want it on the text. Gee, why didn't it understand what I wanted? Okay, something to do occasionally is compact your stack. You put something but did not say where into. That fixed it. Okay. You are in a forest glade. To the north, you see a trail. Okay. We can't do anything with it yet, but at least we got the location in there, right? So let's change the global variable to something other than the first line and see if it... Let's try a location that doesn't work. Oh, I don't want the card. I want the button. Script. say forest glades. Yeah, I know. I'll fix it later. It'll annoy me too. So let's try it with a bad location. Huh. So it probably ran through, and that's the last one. So it searched all of them. And didn't find it, but it's keyed on the last. Yeah, so I'm not ending that search right. So let's look and see what it's doing. I'm repeating all of them, and I exit the repeat. But I could search all of them. So that's not good. Because we're putting it into this location. So it ends up finding the last location, thinking it's the one. So what we should be doing is not doing this until after we test. Or you could set it to nothing, but why even do that? Okay, now our test is looking at this location. I gotta stretch this out. Code's getting long. So we're putting it into this location, but we're testing it here. So what I need to do is line X of field. Well, that puts it into the thing. Yeah, this isn't right. Oh yeah, item 1. Item 1 of this location. So we just need to do line X of card locations instead of referring to the variable. So we're doing item 1 of line X of card field locations and seeing if it equals it. So it's a little convoluted, but that should work. So let's do new game. Okay, there's no card field name. There's no script. In card of card data. You can see why I use a lot of variables instead of doing something like this. It's not very readable code. Alright. Adventurer, you are lost. I do not know where Forest Glades is. Okay, so that works now. Yeah, the arrow's driving me nuts. Better? Okay. So let's fix the bug we introduced. Nope. Script. Forest Glade. Alright. Let's try it again. You're in a forest glade. Yay! Okay, so it does that much. Alright, so to the north there's a trail, so we want to click this and go somewhere. Right now it does nothing. Send, let's do command, because we want them to be able to type in go north instead of just clicking the button, right? So we're going to do a command, go north. Okay, so now we need to do command, and it does go north. So we go over to card info. West area, yeah, fix that. Okay. So we got look working. On. Do command. The command. And do command. Alright, so our command is 2 words. It's an action and an object or something like that. So, execute a command. We need to know the location that we're at. What we actually need is the location and information for the current location. Alright, so this is why I said it's probably a good idea to either have a global variable that stores your current location or a function that you can call that would figure it out for you. Why would you want to do that every time? What if you had a game that actually modified what was at the location? So the description would change, right? And I hadn't thought about that. I'm just displaying a description. We're going to worry about it later, so we can modify it later. So in other words, if you're in a location and it says you're in a glade, on the ground you find a lamp or something like that, well, if you pick the lamp up, the lamp's no longer there. So you got to have object permanence. So that description could change. So let's... we're not going to worry about it for now. Try to keep it simple. But we need to execute a command. We have to know the current location because we need to know if we can go north or south or whatever. So let's do this. Should we use the global? Well, we're passing things. It could get kind of long. You could say the command and the location name. Yeah, I think location's going to end up being used a lot. So let's not do that. I think we want to search for the location and hang on to it so that we always have it and we're not repeating this code every time. But so instead of do look, it's going to be we need a function. Get location data. Oops, it's not end function. Get location data. Okay, so that's going to actually return location data. Into the location data. return the location data. Isn't programming fun? Now we got code where we're already looking for a location, so let's grab that. We don't have to do this to do now. The function shouldn't do any user interface stuff. Set delimiter, we don't need the description in here because we're not grabbing that. Repeat with into locations, card data, location, then put this location. So this location should be this location data. And repeat, return, okay. The location name needs to be passed to it so we know this needs to be this location data. Well, let's use the location data, more consistent. Which I'd already done at the top. Okay, so delimiter is pipe, put empty into the location data. Repeat field locations, data. What's the location name, then put the location data, we get out of the loop, we return the location data. So it's either going to be empty or it's going to be the location. So let's go back and change this code because it doesn't need to do the loop. And we're going to put get location data, the location name, into this location. Okay, so we got it, but we have to check to see if it's empty, and we do that already. Hey Dave. This watching someone code is kind of like watching water boil. Get location descript. No, we want to display. Okay. Display the location description. Okay. So that should now work. We can call that function to get that. So let's go try that again to make sure we haven't messed up that code. Okay, so it's still working. Good. I didn't break it. Card info. Script. I'm glad it remembers I wanted it wide. Okay, so we've got something that looks at a location and puts it into the dialog. We've got a function. Oh, this no longer has to do this because, oh wait a minute, it is parsing. Yeah, it's still getting item 2, so it still has to parse that. Probably should to have a function that says get location description. Are we ever going to need that somewhere else? Let's not worry about it until we do. Yeah, because the more functions you drop in here and then having to call them, the slower the code is. So, okay. Get the location data. So that works. We're at the command again. All right. So we want to do something. Oh, so we either call the function to get the location data again, or we throw it in that in a global so that we don't have to get it every time. We have to make sure it always corresponds with the name. And if the program alters location information, then we'd have to change the description. Yeah, let's just leave it alone for now. So we are going to get we need to know the location, so we're going to call the same thing function. And we're going to put it into this location. So we're going to get the location put in this location. That is the entire line that tells you, I'm going to call it location data. I don't like yeah, I feel like I need to be consistent here. You know, one bit was pointed out that the arrow for going west was bigger than the rest of them, and it was really annoying him. Code names that aren't consistent annoy me. Data. So we're going to use location data if the location data is empty, the location data description. Okay, so that's better. I feel better now. So we're going to use location data. That's fine. The location data. Okay. If the location data is empty, then we got a problem here. We're going to have to do something about that. Else, and if. Okay. So we need to parse the command, and it was go north or some direction. Oh yeah, you're still grading. I hope that's going well. That would be the one thing that would kill me about teaching. That and, probably students. There was a time I wanted to be a secondary ed teacher, and I'm glad I didn't do that. Although I think I might be good at the teaching part. I like doing that part, but okay. Yeah, 12 to 14 hour work days. I hear you. Data found. Well, we could do the same error. We don't know about the location, but let's not worry about it. So we need to parse the command. Well, what if the command doesn't need the location data? We're calling it needlessly, but let's do it anyway. Because you could have commands that are not. There are just too many students nowadays. So they're, in other words, they're packing students into your classes like you've got more than a reasonable number of them. Yeah. Which also increases your work. So we want the command. We want to put item 1 of the command. No, not item 1. It's not a list. Word 1 of the command into the command. The action. Put word 2 of the command into the object, for lack of anything else. All right. If the action equals go, then we're going to go somewhere. We need to have an else, and if, what if it's not something we're handling? Sorry. Well, invalid action. Sorry, I don't know how to do that. Isn't that what they usually put in there? Sorry, I don't know how to go. But I'm sorry. I don't know how to action. Okay. Right. So if it's go, the object would be the direction. So, and maybe there would be commands that don't have 2 words. So let's move this into here. The direction. Let's say the direction instead. Okay. If direction equals north, then else if the direction equals south, then else if the direction equals east, then else if the direction equals west, then else, so we still have, sorry, I don't know how to go what that is, so alright, so we're going to go east, west, north or south. If none of the directions match that, put I don't know how to go the direction. There. Okay. So a little bit of defensive programming. We're doing some error handling while we write the code instead of going back and saying, you know, I should have, one of the things you should do when you're coding like this is defensive coding. You know, you think of the border conditions and stuff. Someone's going to type in go up, right? And we don't have an up. Or go, you know, jump off a cliff or something like that. So go jump. So little defensive coding, but we should also have test cases we go through and try to go up or go get lost and stuff like that to see how they happen or how the code handles it. I am not going to write all that now. I'll just play with it instead because it's a toy app. If this had an automated testing framework where you could set that up, you would actually put that into your code and declare your test cases while you're doing this. And there's code that does that, but not for HyperCard. Be interesting to try to write a test framework for HyperCard, but I don't think it would work very well. All right, anyway, so if we go north, what do we need to do? We need to figure out whether that direction you can do that. So we need to parse the direction information that's in our thing. So we have, starting with the third thing, we've got north. So we could just scan through the rest of the line, looking at each item after the location, name, and the description to look for north or that action. That could be useful. We could add other things. We could add up and down and stuff like that. So so we need to scan for the word north. Maybe we need a more generic command than what we did for scanning for the line, but let's write it for north first and then see what we can do to make a generic function. So it's always in a pair, so there's north and then what you can do in that direction. So what we need to do, and we know we don't need to look at the first two items, so repeat with x equals, we're going to start with the third item to the number of items in card field locations of card data. so X represents the third one on to the end. If and how do we grab that text? Item X of the location. Oh, duh. I'm doing this the wrong way. We got the location data. We don't want the items in card field. We want the items in that variable. Sorry. I was thinking about scanning the lines again, and that's not what I was doing. So repeat with x equals 3 to the number of items in the location data. If item x of the location data equals north, actually, we don't even have to do this. Why am I doing if north, south, east, or west? I've got the direction. We could do this. I'm doing this code backwards. We can do the repeat. And we're going to do, we're going to look for equals the direction. So we're looking for a direction. Then, and if we need to see if the direction if it equals that direction, then we need item x plus 1. Put item x plus 1 of the location data into the next location, the destination, right? So we have a destination now. So we know we're going, well, you're going north, and it says north, and then it has the destination. So now we have a destination. We could get the destination's information and go there. So what we could do, we have a global variable that has the current location in it. So this is the danger of using globals. I have to keep track of what I'm doing with them. Put global G location name. Okay, so we got to update the location name. Put the destination into G location name. Okay, so we're going to go there. So we need a command to go, or a function that goes. To that destination. So we have a way to look. We don't have any ways of going yet. Okay, so we need to make sure we can actually go there. Maybe we shouldn't set it on this one. Maybe we should only set it if we can go there. Because you would stay where you're at if you can't go somewhere. So let's not do that. Okay. So let's call a function that will actually go. So we have the location. Let's now do we want to make it a message? Send. No, we can just call it do go. So probably all this code we're doing here should be in do go. Well, let's just destination. Let's just do that. Okay. If it doesn't match, we're not going to go anywhere. So this else doesn't make any sense anymore. But if you can't, if we repeat and we never find that destination, okay. Getting more complicated. So let's just handle the positive case. We know we're going to go there. So this really should be a function. If it failed, then we could say we can't go there. Or do go could handle it. So let's just do go. End or exit repeat. So we don't have to continue repeating. We could do put empty into the destination. Okay, so if it's empty, we're not ever going to put, okay, so we could check that. At the end of the repeat, we could say if is empty. Then, and if, that's going to be an error. So, destination not found. So we could display the error there. Maybe we don't want to do that. But let's just leave it there for now. And do something visual or something we can see. Sorry, I don't know how to go to well, it'd be item X of the look. Yeah, so this isn't going to work. I'd have to have a variable to store it, so I could have an. I could just okay. I don't have to name it. I could just say, I don't know how to get there. go there. And leave it at that. No, we want to leave that. And we don't want the and return. There we do. Ah. There. I'm sorry, I don't know how to go there. Okay, that might work. All right, we got a lot of code here, so maybe we should do. Okay, I've got an unmatched something. We're going to put empty into the destination. Actually, we're only using destination here. Should get it close to the repeat. Oh, I see what's wrong. That's for direction. We don't need this. Well, if we didn't find anything, we didn't find a direction. We'll put word 2 of the command. Okay, the direction. So we didn't. So it's not. I don't know how to go there. It's like that way is blocked. Is what this is saying. So. It's not that if the destination is empty. So really it's more about it being blocked. So this really should say not, I don't know how to go there. It's, I'm sorry, the way is blocked or something like that. The way is blocked. Yeah, good enough. We'll see how it behaves. This needs to be out. Okay. The only action we have is go, so I don't know how to go. And then an end if here. That should take care of it. So let's give this a try. So oh, wait a minute. I do not have do go destination, so we need to do undo go the destination and do go. And I'm just going to throw in nothing. Well, what would we actually do here? We would set the global, and then we would look. So we'd have to actually so we could do look. What the heck? Let's try it, see what happens. Live dangerously. Oh, that's right, it's not a button. Go north. Not doing anything, right? Because I don't have it updating the direction. What am I doing? Do look takes a location name. The destination is a location name. Well, let's trace the execution. Maybe it's not even getting there. Oh, I don't have any code on there to do anything. There we go. Global, all right. So let's watch the variables and step through. Okay. Didn't really do anything. Let's try that again. Start over. Hello, Steve. I'm writing very, very complicated code for a very simple program. So I have to get the location data. I have the location name, Forest Glade, right? The command, go north. Oh. I don't have anything in location name. That's what's wrong. This is nothing. Okay. So that's the current location. Instead of the location name, it's the global location name. Alright, let's try that again. Hey, there we go. The location data. I got it back this time. So it's not empty. I get word 1 is go. So we have the command. Oh, Steve, it's been painful to watch, believe me. It's like watching water boil with the heat off. Anyway. So I get the command, go north. And then I have to look to see if I can find in my location data. Oh, yeah, North Trail. So the direction is north. The destination is North Trail. So it should have gone to that destination. And look. You are on a trail in a dark... Okay, so it did change the where you're at. Most of these programs, don't they like just scroll the text so that you can see what you've been doing before? I probably need to change that, how it handles this. Let's see. Should it scroll up or should it scroll down? I think the natural thing is for it just to scroll down. So let's handle that. Go to the script. It's not much of an adventure game yet. So I need to, when I put stuff in the dialogue, so let's look for dialogue. So I'm putting it and hitting return. So instead of putting it into, it should be after. Because we want it to just keep adding it to it. We also have to fix another behavior. This is a very special number that programmers should recognize. 32,767 is the size of an integer. It's the maximum integer, signed integer that you can put into, what is it, 8 bits? An 8-bit word? 4-bit word? Can't remember. I think it's a 4-bit word. Anyway, or 4-byte word. And the way the fields work that are scrolling is that it always goes to the top. And if you keep putting stuff after, it scrolls below the bottom of the field, so you have to throw it up. I put a drop. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. Gas ain't cheap. I want to go to VCF Midwest, and I'm going to be selling a bunch of retro stuff to help fund it, and Thank you, Steve, for contributing to the trip. I appreciate it. Okay, so this should take care of that. We could do something on the field itself to have it scroll to the bottom as text is added. But you know, I'm just going to do this. Another way to handle it would be to put a function in here to add text, and that way you could just always call that function. That way, if you wanted to change this code and how it works, you could do that in one place. You know, maybe if I refactor it, I'll clean that up. So let's give that a try. Okay, new game. You're in a forest glade. To the north you see a trail. We're going to go north, and I've got debug on, so we're going to skip that and just go. Ah, so it added it to it. You were on a trail, and it, okay. So we probably should put something in there about, you know, that you went somewhere. Instead of just that. So let's go back in the code. And let's go to the go. And we're gonna do no, this isn't the place to do it. Go destination. Put you go oops, direction. Venture. Let's be fancy. You venture forth. You venture north. Okay. Yes. Have the text read slowly with Macintosh. One game did this. Don't remember which. Yeah, that would be fun. Ready to serve. You venture north. Okay, so that wiped it out because I didn't do after. I did into. And I think we want to keep the history. Script. So I want to make sure it's not doing into. Here we go. after. 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 Okay. New game. Boom. You're in a forest glade. You venture north. You are on a okay, so now we're able to travel. At least we can go north. Over and over again to the same place. So I need to update something so that it knows that we're actually at that location. This is where the global comes in again, I think. So didn't we set it? Nope, we're not doing the global. Okay. So we have this global with the location name. That's our current location. This is the problem with globals. That's not what I wanted. I'm hitting the cancel key, which is the tilde key on this. We want that global location. And we want to set it to the destination. Put the destination into G location name. Okay. Going north is overrated. Yes, but you have to build up the anticipation, you know. You don't just immediately go south. You're in tall, dark forest that ventures north. Ah, you are on a trail deep into the dark forest. To the north is an opening to a cave. A dark cave entrance is before you. The breeze wafts a dank and fetid stench from the depths. There is a guard blocking the entrance and a rubber duck on the ground. Question mark. Does anyone know the duck reference? You know, you should never pick up a rubber duck in a dungeon. Please tell me somebody's old enough to know that one. So let's implement going south. Let's look at going north. Script. Send do command quote go north. Okay, so if we do this, in the script, and we don't go north, we go south, boom. I'm back on the trail. And I can't go any farther south. Sorry, the way is blocked. Let's see if I can't go east or west. Let's implement those. Now what I could do is actually use a generic uh, piece of code here and grab the name of the button and stick it in here, but I'm not going to do that. Because then you're dependent on the name of the button, and what if I change the name of the button? It's a little too disconnected. But you could do that kind of programming. If you had dynamic scripting and stuff you wanted to do. Go south, you enter Steve's basement, trip over a laser rider 2. Perish, game over. Okay, we could add that. Well, let's do it right now. So let's look at the adventure config. So from the forest glade, so there's the north. We're going to add south. And you enter. Oh, wait a minute. It'd be Steve's basement, right? Steve's basement. So now we need a destination called Steve's basement. Steve's basement. Well, you're not going to enter. It's the description of it. What wonders meet your eyes? A wall of G4 cubes, or a stack of G4 cubes. Distract your gaze. You trip over a laser rider 2 and perish. Game over. So you're stuck here, you die, and you can't go anywhere because it's a trap. You're in an obulette. Steve's basement. Okay, so we need to add or update our location stuff to have this. I wanted to save this. Save. So if we go to our here. Oh. Yeah, I have to enable browsing. All right. So let's play it, see what happens. New game. We're going to go north a bit. Okay. I'm going to try to go west. Sorry, the way is blocked. The way is blocked. Go south. We're back in the glade. Now if we go south again, what wanders meets your eyes? A stack of G4 cubes distract your gaze. You trip over a laser rider 2 and perish. Game over. I can't. Your way is blocked. You're basically trapped. Okay, so maybe you're trapped, but either way, you're done. Game's over. We're in Steve's basement, which is now an obulette. I think that's how you pronounce it. Thanks a lot, Steve. Okay. Well, it's 11. I gotta work tomorrow. I think we could have a lot of fun with this. So there's obviously more we need to do. So we've got navigation done. You can look, or I mean, it just tells you. We need to implement the command bar so you could say look or go north, things like that. Then I'm going to need to have an inventory. You could pick up objects. You could use the objects. You can meet non-playing characters, and talk to them maybe, stuff like that. Really shouldn't be that hard to do. The code's a little sloppy right now, so it needs some refactoring, but, it does work. Instead of being trapped, it should have you actually die. So I have to implement some form of you're dead. You have to meet monsters and stuff, right? And then battle monsters. So pretty simple. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming, and thank you, Steve, for the donation towards my trip to VCF Midwest. I appreciate it. I'll probably do another live stream, and just keep adding some code to this and make it cooler, clean it up a bit. Import a file with your game so that you can play your own adventure, stuff like that. Anyway, it'll get more interesting from here because we've got the basic framework for the code, and even though it's a little flaky, I think it's a good start. All right, so thanks again. See everybody later. Tomorrow night is Friday, so there should be old WTF should be on. I'm afraid I don't remember what time it is, but please watch that. It'll be in the evening Friday. And then we always have Dave's Vintage Apple Techs Sunday stream. I imagine Big Bad Biologist is probably doing something on Saturday. So, please venture forth and like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Talk to you guys. Bye. Where is the button? Outro's coming. Bye. Play the outro.